Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Ingrid's World. I'm Ingrid Paris Hickland, your host, and I hear the sounds of music and young people who know they matter. Meet vocalist Patrice Farris, who while attending college at American University, she studied with the renowned voice opera teacher Louise Darley. She also studied with jazz vocalist Ronnie Wells. Bassist Fred Farris attended Johns Hopkins University as an engineering major, but also studied jazz improvisation, music theory. He credits Joe Comfort, Ray Leatherwood, as well as Keter Betts as his greatest influence. And then guitarist Steve Ragsdale is a music educator attended the University of Maryland as well as Catholic University. He teaches both publicly and privately. He has studied with many great guitarists. And so we're going to first start off with them, and then we're going to have Jack and Jill of America Teens on here. They are from the Alexandria-Mount Vernon chapter, and they're going to talk about their new book, which is called Why I Matter, a teen perspective. So let's get started with our fabulous guest, the Satin Doll Trio. Take it away, Satin Doll.
Thinking of you as the rain starts to fall, remembering the warmth of your smile. Thinking of you as the snow settles in, remembering the warmth of the fire. Thinking of you as the leaves start to fall, longing for your loving embrace, hearing your voice in the whispering wind, holding your memory in my heart. Whisper in the wind.
Oh my goodness, I have to clap. This is amazing. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, you know, I'm thrilled to have you all on Ingrid's World.
Thanks for having us.
Let's
Thank
hear a little
you.
bit about Satin Doll Trio. You know, how long has the group, been going on? And tell us a little bit about Satin Doll Trio.
Well, we initially got together as a group in 1997, which is a little over 20 years ago. And we've been performing weekly for 20 years in and around Washington and the metropolitan area, including traveling to New York and also South Carolina, performing at the Jazz Corner.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
The style of music that you're singing and playing, what would you best describe it as?
We refer to it as supper club jazz, and it's kind of known in the industry as supper club jazz. There's a lot of different forms of jazz, but this was kind of the music that was played by people like Nancy Wilson, Julie London, Peggy Lee, Sarah Vaughan. Back in the 50s and 60s, they would go into these little tiny clubs that might not even have a piano, and they would play with just a guitar and a bass and a singer. And it was a very, very stripped down version of the tunes, but it really depended on the vocalist and the ensemble keeping the whole thing together, because you didn't have a big horn section behind you or a rhythm section.
Yeah.
You know, it's very, very sparse, so everything has to be just done perfectly.
And I guess you really see, that's why I just so appreciate, you know, there's three of you being on the show, because this is real music. It's not that computer generated.
Nothing pre-recorded, yeah, no samples. No.
Let's add some drums, let's add this. But this is the real deal, you know, it really is. So Steve, you are a part of the trio. You are somewhat new to the trio?
I'm the new guy.
You're the new guy.
Yeah, I just joined. I started working with these guys around Christmas, so not even a year, just about 4 months. So.
Oh my goodness. And here you are in Ingrid's world.
I know, I'm really enjoying it.
I love it. I love it. Well, this is like an amazing group, because I remember, oh my goodness, was it really that long ago? 97?
Yeah, our first gig was at the old Twins Jazz. I don't know if you know where the Twins Jazz Club is, but we started playing at the old Twins Jazz, which is now on U Street, but it was previously at Colorado Avenue. And we used to drive down there, and we had a regular Monday night down there.
Wow.
Started playing there, and then, boy, the gigs quickly came around. As you know, we ended up as a house band at the Ritz-Carlton in Pentagon City. We were there for about 10 years. We played at the old Felix in Adams Morgan for about 10 years. We've been at La Porta as our current Friday night regular for over 20 years.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so we've had long runs in a lot of these places. And lots of other places. I mean, you know, we've played numerous stages on the Kennedy Center. We played the KC Jazz Club, the Millennium Stage. We've done private, we played the Mark Twain Awards there, and you know, played for Billy Crystal and Whoopi Goldberg, and they were all in the room. You know, it was really pretty fabulous.
Oh my goodness.
So we've been really busy since 1997.
That sounds like it. It really is. It is. I just remember when I hear you all play, I think of the days of elegance and manners, and people cared about what they said. Patrice, what do you, when you start singing these songs, what are you trying to capture?
I love the stories that these songs tell. I love songs about love, and these songs that we are performing are mostly from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. The song that you just heard is a song that Steve wrote and I wrote the lyrics to, which is called "Whisper in the Wind." But I've been singing now for 20 years in front of live audiences, and just really enjoying, and I enjoy reaching out to people and the connection that we're able to make with our music and with everyone in the room. Music is very uplifting.
It is.
And it is universal, so it's a language that everyone can understand.
Right, and it's just so beautiful because, you know, when I think about it, okay, so when I hear you all play, I visualize the Ritz-Carlton, I have to tell you. I go back there just like that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, here they are, they're right here on the studio. What got you involved in this type of music, Steve?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, and to sort of follow up on what Patrice was saying, you know, the songs we do are most musicians would call them standards. You know, sort of as a jazz musician, you learn a lot of these songs as you're coming up. And when I first met these guys, you know, they showed me their list. It's like, I know all those songs, you know, because as a jazz musician, you know, it's just what you learn. It's sort of the language that you speak. And in that repertoire, like, you know, from the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, what a lot of people call the Great American Songbook. There's such a legacy there, just like people go back now and study the music of Bach or Beethoven, not just because it's great music, but they make an emotional connection to that music. I feel the same thing with this, you know, the repertoire that we do. A lot of people might say, well, they're old songs. Well, yeah, they are old, but they're great songs. They're songs that I connect with both as a musician, I get excited about playing them, but also as a listener, I think people emotionally connect to them. Especially the way Patrice sings.
Thank you.
A voice of an angel.
Thank you very much.
I mean, because when you're singing, it's so wonderful. And the words are so clear that you can take them to heart. you know, you can say, okay, you know, that's how I feel about it. Thinking of you. Wow, that's amazing. Fred, you play so beautifully, you know, your bass sings along with it. How do you do that, you know? I mean, because it just blends so beautifully.
Well, it's a little different for me in this kind of an ensemble, which is very stripped down, because I'm basically the entire rhythm section. You know, I'm sort of
Is the drummer and the bass?
I'm the drummer and the bass player, and anything else that requires
and
rhythm.
The sound man, right?
And right, sometimes the sound man. I have to do that, but you know, for a bassist to back up a singer, you really you know, need to spell the roots and the chord of the chord, you know, and so that the band kind of has a melodic center that, you know, the song focuses around. So it's a little different role than if you're playing in a really like a straight ahead jazz ensemble or something like that. You know, you have to really just enforce the rhythm and enforce, you know, the time and the root notes of the song, and, you know, maybe thirds or sevenths depending on what the chord is, so that it maintains that jazz feel. You know?
Wow, it really does. So I heard someone say, who was saying, where can we see, you know, Satin Doll Trio? Where can we see you?
You can see us at Laporta's restaurant on Duke Street in Alexandria. We're there every Friday evening. Laporta's is a family-owned restaurant, and they have been there for 30 years. There is music at Laporta's every night, including a Sunday brunch. We're very fortunate to have this family and this family's restaurant support local musicians, specifically local jazz musicians. So we are grateful to them and very appreciative of their restaurant, and the music is fantastic.
Well, I tell you, you all are fantastic. The music just stays in my, and I hope our audience will go out there and see the Satin Doll Trio, which I have had the pleasure to heard you all at the, what is it, the Carlisle Club?
In
The
Alexandria
Carlisle
is
Club,
a wonderful
yes.
place.
That was amazing, and that really, and if they come, they'll get to see the little dog that
They'll get
you
to see
have.
Yeah.
Oh,
Then-
you really have to see, he's pretty amazing.
At the Carlisle Club, we normally play. When you saw us, we had a drummer with us. We grow the band a little bit because they have a dance floor, and we change up the repertoire a little bit because people like to dance. And so you have this experience, which is like an old 1930s, 40s supper club, where you can, after you have dinner, you can get up and dance to the band. You know, it's really, really.
Well, I have to thank you. Patrice, always wonderful to see
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks so much for
Steve.
having us.
And Fred, thanks again.
Thank you, Ingrid.
All right, coming up next, we'll be talking to the awesome teams from Jack and Jill of America Incorporated, Alexandria-Mount Vernon chapter. So stay right there. They will wow you by their insights, knowledge, and their hope for the future.
Minds can achieve anything. We make sure they get to college. Federal student aid provides more than $150 billion in grants, loans, and work-study funds to make college possible for anyone with the mind to get there. Because if given the chance, minds will do great things. Federal Student Aid, proud sponsor of the American Mind. Learn more about money for college at studentaid.gov.
Well, welcome to the show, Jack and Jill America, Alexandria-Mount Vernon chapter. Let's start off by introducing yourselves. Let's start right here.
All right, my name's Brianna.
My name's Ayana.
I'm Cameron.
And I'm Journey.
So tell us, first of all, Jack and Jill America, Alexandria-Mount Vernon chapter. Who would like to tell us what is that about?
Well, I'll start off. First of all, thank you so much for having us here. We really appreciate it. And Jack and Jill is really a mother's organization that helps young youth, African-American youth in particular, from ages toddlers all the way to teenagers with leadership development, financial literacy, and philanthropic initiatives within our communities. And we also, of course, have social aspects as well.
Wow, beautiful. So why write the book? Why did you decide to write the book? Because that was kind of powerful.
Every year we look for a way to raise funds and contribute to the Jack and Jill Foundation. And this year we chose to write a book containing a personal collection of essays written by our teens. And each teen had the opportunity to participate and also the opportunity to become a published author.
So what was the process that you all used to write the book?
Well, first, at one of our team meetings, we all came together and we brainstormed ideas, like what do we want to write about? Or if we write about this, how would we expand on that topic? And these are the questions that we asked ourselves. And then as we continued on the process, we started writing drafts and then trading our drafts with our peers to get a second opinion.
Wow.
And then giving our drafts to our editors so that they can get another look at what we're doing.
Another thing, very well written. Beautifully written. The words flowed. It was just beautiful.
Thank you.
It was just, and that's hard work. That's real hard work, but it was beautifully. Chapter 1 talks about the journey towards service, and I just got so excited about that.
Right. That's my chapter.
Is that your chapter?
Yes. Right, so the first chapter entitled A Journey Towards Service, I wrote that as kind of like a personal story about finding my call to serve and purpose-driven leadership. And over the past 4 years in high school, I've been volunteering at my local hospital, and through that process I got to interact with different patients throughout different clinics and go into the pharmacy and things like that. And I noticed that service isn't your cookie cutter donating to a homeless shelter or to a food kitchen, which are all great activities, but it can just be helping someone through their day and any activities like that. And so I realized that I wanted to write something to inspire others, just to serve people in any general fashion you can on a daily basis. So that's kind of why I entitled it A Journey Towards Service.
I love that, what you wrote about, because it was someone who was having such a bad day at the hospital, and and really kind of like acting out. But you chose to take it a different way, and she came back and she thanked you. It just, that was just so powerful.
It's the little things in life, honestly.
There you go. It's the little things. Chapter 5 spoke about the future, or what do you want people to remember from chapter 5?
I wrote that.
You wrote that?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Well, from chapter 5, it's a lot of the things that I reference in the chapter. They're things that I have come into contact with during my lifetime. So, having these conversations in classes about, if you were given the opportunity to vote, would you and why? Do you believe that children your age should be allowed to vote? And I remember having a heated discussion in my English class, so that really inspired me to write that portion.
I mean, because it really was just something when I was reading that. Chapter 17. Now, I love chapter 17. Well, so let me just clarify. I loved all the chapters, okay?
Thank you.
Because each one has a lesson, and I have to tell the adults that are out there, you need to read this. If you really want to know what's going on, read it, because it was just insightful. So then I said to myself, so that's why Alyssa does that. I got a sneak peek. But actually, and I think it's just important to kind of like know. But on chapter 17, it discussed living your best life. What is the first step in terms of living? So who wrote chapter 7?
That's my chapter.
That's your chapter.
Yes. So understanding who you are, it would be the first step to living your best life. And my dad encouraged me to take the Myers-Briggs personality test, in which I found out that I am an ENFP, extrovert, intuitive, feeling, perceiving person. And my personality traits were like a unique individual, always seeking new opportunities. Yeah.
You know, and another overarching theme of the book was that I really got a lot of parental involvement, which was just so beautiful. You know, you hear the negative things about parents and, you know, interacting, but it was such a beautiful story, and to know that that exists now in 2019. That's what's going on with our children. So, how did you visualize how the book should be used?
Well, really, I think we started with who's our audience, and we've written a book in the past, and that was catered towards middle schoolers, and so now I think we wanted to expand our audience a little bit more to cater towards teens more in a perspective, and also adults, like you said earlier. And so, in writing this book, like Journey said, also we kind of broaden our horizons. What do we want to talk about? How can we talk about it? And so that way it can connect to anyone who would pick it up off the shelf or anything like that.
It also gave teens a foundation to where they could just know that I'm in this community as well. Like I'm definitely here. Like I definitely have a voice and an impact on the future.
Right, I tell you. And reading it just gives, you know, me hope to say, okay, we're in good hands. They are, so what do you want, maybe we'll go around with this. What do you want the reader to remember? You know, if someone's thinking about picking up this book, what do you think that they're going to get? What you would hope that they would get for it? Journey, do you want to kick it off?
Sure. Well, for my chapter, or in specifics, or in the whole book as a whole, that you should, you know, love who you are. And, you know, if you're trying to do something right now as a young person or someone who's trying to achieve their dream and things just aren't working out, you know, don't worry about it too much. You know, you still have plenty of time left. You can go and do the things that you want to do. And when you finally get the chance to do those things that you want to do, don't hold back. Go at it full speed, you know, full throttle.
Wow, it's beautiful, beautiful. What would you like people to remember from this?
Honestly, love the skin you're in. If you don't love the skin you're in, then you can't partake in really what you want to do. You have to know how to embrace yourself and learn how to.
Skin you're in.
Yeah.
That's powerful. Hey, not only for teens.
Yeah, definitely for everybody.
It's for everybody. Love the skin you're in. Wow, love it. What would you like people to remember?
If you don't know who you are, you really won't have a good perspective on how to go about your future. So you want to find that out as soon as possible.
Wonderful. Oh my goodness. And let's give. What do you think about that?
Well, I think what I want people to take away from this book is that everyone's journey is different, and however way you find your purpose and your calling in life, go through it with full force. Don't hesitate, and people will gravitate towards your energy no matter what. And so I think that's what I want people to take away from our book.
Wow. Well, I have to congratulate you all on a fabulous book. Is there any plans for a second book?
Actually, there is. We actually have possibility of doing another book in about 2 years. So we can rotate more teens into our chapter, and they can get an experience as well as we did.
Oh my goodness. Well, please continue the awesome work that you all are doing, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's awesome and also inspiring. I would like to thank the Satin Doll Trio and Jack and Jill of America Incorporated, Alexandria-Mount Vernon chapter team members for being outstanding guests. Our quote this time is from Michelle Obama. Every day, the people I meet inspire me. Every day, they make me proud. Every day, they remind me how blessed we are to live in the greatest nation on earth. Thank you for watching Ingrid's World, and don't forget, friend us on Facebook or follow Ingrid's World VA on Twitter and Instagram. And hey, if you missed an episode, watch Ingrid's World on YouTube. Thanks for watching.